The applause hadn't even faded when he handed me the pen. Gold trim, heavy, custom engraved with my name. A gift from the company for the promotion I was seconds from accepting. But the paper he placed in front of me wasn't my contract. It was a transfer of ownership. All my tech patents, my life's work, to Connor, 17, barely passed algebra, my wife's half-brother. I looked up at her father, my boss, his smile already halfway to smug. He needs a future more than you. Then he ripped my promotion letter in half. No one moved, no one gasped, just polite smiles from the board. And my wife? She looked away. That was the first time something inside me stopped beating. I drove home alone that night. She said she'd take a separate car, said she didn't want things to be awkward. Awkward? I stared at the steering wheel longer than I drove. Hands shaking, not from rage, but recognition. That look she gave me before her father approached. Avoidant. Hollow. Like she'd already known what was about to happen. Not surprise. Permission. And Connor? The same kid who once asked if I could build him a $1 million app? He just stared at the table with a sheepish grin, like a dog being handed steak for doing nothing but existing. This wasn't sudden, it was orchestrated. They'd had weeks, months maybe, to strip me clean, quietly, and I missed it. Because I believed she loved me. She stopped asking about my work 6 months ago. Said she was proud of me in the same flat tone people use at funerals. But I let it go. I wanted to believe it was just burnout, not boredom, not betrayal. But now I was listening. I waited until she left for her yoga retreat the following weekend, cloned her phone, checked the messages. Nothing there. Nothing obvious. But the pattern was wrong. Deleted threads, gaps in time, a name that kept popping up, Jade, a girl neither of us knew. I traced the IPs behind the shared location links. Not a yoga center, the family estate, her father's property. And Connor was there too. My stomach didn't drop, my hands didn't shake. I felt, still. I contacted a private IP firm, paid double to make it fast. Within a week I had the documents, email threads, one from her. Once it's under Connor's name, the valuation goes through him. They'll have no choice but to cut him in before the merger. She was talking about my patents. She wasn't just complicit, she planned it. She came home late, hair damp, smelling like fresh lavender and guilt. I handed her the envelope. No words. She opened it on the kitchen counter, where we used to cook on Sundays, where we laughed over burnt pasta and drank too much red wine. Silence. Then, "You went through my things?" She skipped the content, went straight to defense. That told me everything. I stared at her like I was trying to memorize her face for the last time, not because I'd miss it, because I'd never trust a single expression on it again. She reached for my arm. I stepped back. "He's your family," I said. I hope he was worth it. Her eyes glossed over. No denial, no remorse, just calculation. She was already thinking of how to spin it. At the next board meeting, the acquisition team was present. $50 million on the table. Her father walked in like a man already celebrating. Until the CTO slid the real patent file across the table. Under a new name. Mine. Legally shielded, re-registered, untraceable trail of ownership. "This isn't Connor's," her father muttered. I leaned forward. "Never was." He looked at me like he'd seen a ghost. "You signed—" "I did," I cut in. "A blank piece of paper." I smiled. Cold, small. "You forgot to ask what else I changed." The silence was surgical. One of the board members shifted. Another cleared his throat. I stood, dropped the forged copy of his attempt, signed under duress, onto the table. "You tried to steal from me," I said. "Now I own the merger." I walked out before anyone replied. She called that night, 4 times, left 1 voicemail. We should talk, we can still fix this. Fix, as if this was a leak in a roof, not a knife between ribs. I didn't call back. I didn't rage, didn't drink, didn't even cry. Just stood there, watching the city lights through the floor-to-ceiling glass of my apartment, alone, but intact, clean. And as her voice faded from the final voicemail, "Please, just talk to me," I deleted it, without listening to the end. I didn't need closure. I already had the truth. And for the first time in months, I slept.